my beloved child. When you quiet your soul in stillness, when time seems to slow down as if waiting for just one more beat of your heart, know this: what is about to unfold does not belong to the ordinary order of mankind. It does not arise from the plans you have written, nor does it follow the rhythm of the world. Rather, it is an answer sent from eternity, and right now, in the seemingly insignificant space between two breaths, a revelation from the heavens is being unveiled, prepared especially for you. Archangel Michael, the great warrior of light, has not hesitated to lift his voice between the spiritual realm and the earthly one to proclaim, time, the very thing that seems unstoppable, has momentarily paused for a sacred purpose. Every clock, both in heaven and on earth, is now turning to a divine rhythm. It is a sound no one hears, but you can feel it, because you have been marked to receive what is about to be revealed. In the next 5 minutes, that which was once hidden from your sight, what you yourself once thought you were unworthy to even touch, will be unveiled. Stop for a moment. Lay down every rush, every doubt, and every plan you have clung to. For the moment you are about to enter is unlike anything you have ever known. This is not a coincidence, nor is it a reward for good luck. It is a miracle, coded by the hand of God, sealed by the power of heaven, and appointed to manifest precisely when your heart is ready to receive its holiness. My child, you are not merely a witness. You are an heir, one whose name has been written into an ancient promise that when the appointed time comes, you will be the vessel that brings forth the revelation from heaven to earth. And that time is no longer in some distant future. It is knocking at the door of your soul, waiting for you to open your heart and let it in. 2 minutes, just 2 more movements of divine destiny, and then you will see, you will know, and you will never be the same again. Do not believe the lie that you are not strong enough to receive this. Do not let your past stumbles, the days you doubted yourself, convince you that you've been disqualified from grace. You have not been abandoned. On the contrary, it was in those very moments when silent tears fell and your head bowed in loneliness, unnoticed, that heaven was taking record and preparing this very moment for you. The footsteps no one saw, the prayers you couldn't put into words, each one has testified that your soul longs for something beyond the physical world. And because you have longed, you shall receive. Because you kept seeking, the door shall be opened to you. But this door does not lead to a temporary room. It leads to the treasure of divine revelation, to a place where what was once sealed for past generations is now being entrusted directly into your hands. This miracle, dear child, is not a blinding light meant for show. It is a quiet, deep light, one that melts every doubt and ignites within you a new understanding that you are a part of a plan far greater than anyone ever told you. You may already feel the signs beginning. Perhaps it's a strange breeze brushing your skin, or a silent stirring deep within your heart, or an undeniable sense that something is shifting. And yes, you are not wrong. The universe is bowing in reverence, For the Almighty is reaching toward a child with a mission written into their being long before their first cry echoed on earth. You are not standing on the sidelines. You are at the very center of this moment. Not because you are capable enough, but because I have chosen you. Not because you have never fallen, but because it is through your very cracks that my light will shine through. The miracle you are about to receive is not meant to decorate your life. It is meant to birth a new season, a season in which you will walk as one who carries the word, one who deciphers mysteries, one who opens the path so that others may see what they never dared to believe. Stay alert in your spirit. 2 minutes may seem fleeting to the world, but in the realm of eternity, they are enough to shift the course of destiny. Do not let the noise of this world distract your heart. Do not allow prejudice, doubt, or fear to cause you to miss this sacred moment, because in these 2 minutes the unseen will become visible. What was sealed will be unveiled, and you will not only hear, you will understand. Archangel Michael does not appear without reason. He enters only when heaven and earth are calling for a divine shift. And today, that shift begins with you. It begins with you. The one who once felt too fragile, the one who thought they weren't good enough, and yet the very one upon whom God has placed his mark. You have been entrusted with a miracle meant to touch a world that is running dry of faith. My child, there are truths so sacred that they can only be protected by the deep silence of a reverent heart. What I have planted in your spirit is not for display. It is not a gift to be hastily proven or showcased. What you have just received, the first glimmers of an encoded revelation, is not meant for the ears of the world just yet. These things belong to a higher realm, where wisdom flows not from many words, but from the ability to remain silent at the appointed time. Before your first breath ever kissed the air, even while you were still being woven together in the hidden places, a seal was engraved upon your soul. No human eye can see it, but heaven has long recognized it. You were chosen to carry something that past generations only longed for from a distance. And now, in this very moment, your silence becomes the protective cloak that shelters this newborn miracle. Like a mother cradling her infant close to her chest, shielding it from the cold winds of the world that would snuff out its fragile beginning, the heavens are trembling. Angelic hosts are holding their breath. The realms of the Spirit are watching, not because they doubt you, but because you are stepping into a pivotal moment, one that only a soul trained in the furnace of faith can withstand. They are watching not to judge, but to witness. What you will do with what has just been entrusted to you. And I say this not to burden you, but to remind you. Silence is not weakness. It is the highest form of obedience when you understand the value of what is being formed in the hidden place. Do not speak of this yet, not even to those closest to you. Guard it like a gem still buried in the depths of the earth, not yet ready to be unearthed. For a warning is echoing from the corridors of light. Wait. Hold it. Let heaven do its part. If you speak too soon, if this sacred revelation is exposed before its time, the power that is rising within it will be scattered. It will dissolve into the air like a scent carried off by the wind, and the world will not recognize its worth, not because it lost its power, but because it was pulled out of the divine context I designed for it. Understand this, my beloved. There are things known only to you and heaven. There are treasures reserved for the private covenant between your soul and your Heavenly Father, moments where silence becomes a sacred contract and quiet faithfulness becomes the key that opens heaven's doors even wider. Obedience in obscurity is the test given to those called to carry a glory this world cannot comprehend. You do not need to be understood right now. You only need to obey. Do not let the impulse to prove yourself steal this sacred opportunity. Do not allow the voice of ego or fleeting emotion to cause you to lose what heaven has spent years preparing to place in your hands. If you feel it becoming difficult to hold on to this moment, return to the place of silence. Sit before me. Let my presence cover you like a veil, one that shields you from hasty words and silences every thought that seeks validation from others. I am enough. It is heaven's affirmation that carries power, not the applause of men. You have been marked. And when you bear that mark while still walking in secrecy, that is when you begin to enter a new dimension of spiritual maturity, a place where I not only grant you understanding, but entrust you with the governance of sacred things. For whoever is faithful with little will be given much. Whoever can keep a secret before it is revealed will be the first witness when it comes to pass. My child, your silence is not a denial of the miracle. It is the highest expression of trust. When you walk quietly but fervently, when you choose not to speak, yet live with the deep awareness that what is about to be unveiled is part of a greater mission, then, in that moment, you are walking in rhythm with heaven. And soon, when the appointed time is fulfilled, when the miracle has been fully formed, I will allow it to be revealed. Not through your lips, but through your life. Beloved, what is being placed in your hands is not merely a document like those exchanged by men. It is not printed in ink, nor written on parchment or visible scripts. It is a record from heaven, inscribed in light and truth, soaked in the divine flow from the throne of glory. This record carries the living power of profound restoration, of healing the hidden wounds, of a success not measured by rank, and of a wealth that exceeds all earthly scales. It is not something visible to ordinary eyes, but a spiritual decree. An authorization has been issued, not based on merit, but on divine selection from the beginning. And you are the one chosen, not because you were the loudest voice, nor the most admired in the eyes of the world, but because you are the one who walked through the dark night of the soul and still did not let go of your faith. You are the one who walked in silence, who clung to the promise even when there was no sign of a way forward. It is this unwavering perseverance that moved heaven. And now, that which has been hidden is beginning to shift. A meeting between realms of power has been convened behind doors no earthly soul knows exist. Angels, those entrusted with guarding mysteries, are encircling a nameplate. And your name, yes, your name, has been spoken in that sacred space, not with mockery, not with suspicion like you've known in the world, but with reverence and quiet admiration. They did not call you the most gifted. They did not list your accomplishments. They simply looked to one another in complete agreement. You are ready, and what is confirmed by the entire spiritual realm, no force on earth can stop it. For so long, there have been those who tried to take what rightfully belongs to you. They schemed to remove you from your rightful place, using words, influence, even the false pretense of faith, to block you from reaching the divine inheritance I have prepared. But they forgot. What I have sealed, no one can undo. They will be stunned. They will be astonished. For while they were busy building appearances, you were quietly laying the foundation. While they sought the spotlight, you sought my presence. And because of this, you have become the vessel I can fill. When the door opens, it will not be their names that are called first. It will be yours. Not because you fought for it, but because you were chosen. Not because you tried to prove yourself, but because you remained faithful. No one saw it coming. You were not factored into their original plans. But this is how I often work. I take what the world overlooks to confound the proud. That sacred document is not merely a sign of change. It is undeniable proof that your season has arrived. It is a confirmation from heaven that what was once delayed is now being released. It is a spiritual permit to enter new territory, where doors that once slammed in your face now swing open without resistance. In the days to come, you will notice how what once seemed impossible will suddenly become effortless. Opportunities that vanished will return, this time cloaked in glory. Those who doubted you will witness your rise in a manner they never expected. But do not let pride take root in your heart. This is not a time to lift your head in self-glory. It is a time to bow lower, to give thanks, and to walk forward in unwavering humility. Remember, everything that is unfolding now is a confirmation of what I sowed into you from the very beginning, and the greatest honor is not that you are finally being recognized by others. It is that you have been entrusted to become a conduit of restoration and healing for a world that is aching. You were not blessed merely to have enough. You were blessed to become an overflowing stream. Do not forget the nights you collapsed in tears. Do not forget the times you chose forgiveness in the face of betrayal, chose to rise after being pushed down, chose silence when you were misunderstood. It was those choices that shaped you into the person heaven trusts to carry new life. The private meeting is over. The decision has been made, and now everything will begin to move with a pace beyond human comprehension. Do not be anxious if your mind cannot keep up. Let your spirit lead. Walk each step with deep gratitude and a heart that listens, for I will speak, I will guide, and I will not let you lose your way. Know this, you are not just a character in this unfolding story. You are the keeper of a key to something far greater than yourself. A generation is waiting for you to rise. A new season is calling you to step in. And that document, carrying energy for restoration, success, healing, and abundance, is not just for you. Through you it will be multiplied and poured into places that have never known light. My beloved child, when the light within you begins to burn brighter, it will awaken a shift in the souls around you, one that cannot be explained in words. There is someone very close to you, someone who once walked beside you through many seasons, who once shared the twists and turns of life, who now feels a strangeness they cannot name. They do not yet understand that the sacred transformation within you is changing the spiritual frequency between you. It no longer aligns as it once did, and this unsettles them. They feel as though something is slipping away, as though you are quietly drifting beyond their reach. My child, do not be quick to turn back and soothe their unease. Do not use comforting words to ease their sense of loss, because in truth, This is not loss. It is a necessary separation. A divine separation orchestrated by heaven to safeguard what is being quietly ignited within your soul. When a new revelation is planted, when a miracle begins to breathe inside you, the invisible hand of God will gently create distance, not to leave you in isolation, but so that holiness can grow without contamination. They are not wrong for sensing something has changed. Indeed, they are feeling it accurately. They are beginning to perceive that your soul has shifted into a new space, a realm not everyone is called to enter with you. And that is what unsettles them. They don't understand why you are quieter now, why your words carry a new tone, why your gaze seems fixed on something far beyond what they can grasp. But it is precisely because they do not understand that they feel confused. And if you turn back to comfort them, you may unintentionally slow the transformation that is unfolding within you. Allow that distance to exist. Let that temporary loneliness become the sacred ground heaven can use to plant in you things that words cannot yet contain. For if you cling to old connections, you may delay your entrance into the new season I have prepared for you. Do not be afraid when you feel yourself withdrawing from familiar relationships. Do not assume you've grown cold. The truth is this: you are being set apart so you may grow, be elevated, and be prepared for a deeper encounter with my presence. And do not be surprised if distractions begin to surface in this season. They may come disguised in seemingly harmless forms: a text message that arrives just as you begin to pray, an appealing offer that subtly unsettles your peace, a longing to go back to normal. These are not coincidences. They are calculated tactics of a force to delay the miracle that is already taking shape. They do not come to destroy you with a loud blow, but to slowly drain your attention, to make you miss the divine window of transformation. The closer you get to the intersection of heaven and earth, the more the forces of darkness will try to interfere. They know that if they can make you look away for even a moment, the revelation may be interrupted and the miracle postponed indefinitely. That is why, in this critical moment, your alertness is your greatest shield. You do not need to fight with your own strength. You only need to protect the sacred space between you and heaven, by refusing to compromise, by declining to explain, and by not allowing anyone to invade the holy ground being birthed within you. Remember this: you owe no one an explanation. You are not required to make others understand what they have not yet been prepared to receive. There are seasons when solitude is the very proof of elevation. And there are moments when your silence is meant to protect the new life forming inside of you. A life not yet ready to be born into the world before its appointed time. Those who do not understand you now will one day witness what you have been carrying. And in that day, your life itself will be the clearest explanation. You will not need to say a word, nor defend anything. Your presence, your eyes, your voice, the way you walk through this world, will speak for you. It will declare that something sacred once touched you. And when that moment comes, they will finally honor the silence they could not comprehend. My beloved child, remain steadfast. Do not turn your head, and do not allow a fleeting stir of emotion to cause you to look away from the greater work that is being prepared for you. I know how deeply you love that person. I know your heart aches at the thought of them being hurt. But there are things you cannot carry with you, not because your love is lacking, but because it is so profound that you must, for now, leave them behind. This temporary separation is not a sign of abandonment, but a necessary act of preservation. For not everyone is meant to walk with you into the sacred place reserved for the soul I have chosen and called by name. This is a sacred moment in which you must learn the art of discernment, the ability to distinguish between emotional ties and divine mission, between the voice of the soul and the noise of the psyche. When you gain that clarity, you will walk forward with a peace that is light yet unshakable. The miracle I have prepared will not be delayed. It will come at the right time, in the right place, in the way I have designed, and it will not miss you. So let this distance become the cocoon in which you are transformed. Let this brief season of loneliness become the launch pad from which your spirit soars. When you return, you will not return the same. You will carry a light within you, an unmistakable radiance that those who once wandered in confusion will now long to follow. Your metamorphosis will not only mark you, but awaken others. Beloved one, the wounds you have carried in silence, the pain the world dismissed, mocked, or denied, those wounds are entering into a divine season of reversal. This is not the result of your striving or fighting, but the unfolding of the timing of your God. And when my timing is made manifest, no force, no hidden darkness, nor earthly power can halt what I have declared over your life. My word will not return void, and what I have spoken over you shall come to pass. I saw every dismissive glance cast at you. I heard every mocking word, every back turned without a farewell. I was present for every silent tear that fell when no one seemed to notice. But I did not answer with wrath, as the world often does. I waited. I remained still, because I knew the hour would come when those who laughed would tremble, not because of vengeance, but because of the holy reversal that would unfold before their very eyes, a shift so undeniable that no one will be able to attribute it to coincidence. It will be clear. It was divine. You have been misunderstood. You have been pushed aside. You have been named things that never belonged to you. The world affixed labels that distorted your essence, but I preserved your true design. Your original blueprint has never been lost. It has been kept in the archives of heaven, sealed in the vault of my will. And now I declare, the pages of your story are being rewritten, not by human hands, but by the ink of heaven. Your home, once unsettled, violated, or disregarded, is being restored. Your identity, once distorted by the voices of others, is being reestablished. Your worth, once diminished by doubt and comparison, is being recalibrated according to the standard of heaven, where no human hand can tamper with it. There is a document soon to be forged, a signature being prepared in secret, with the intent to rob you of what is rightfully yours. But I, the Lord your God, the God of justice, am stepping into the matter. I am not entering with dramatic noise or public spectacle, but with divine authority that no earthly scheme can override. In the silence of manipulation, I am overturning the plan. I am overturning the case, adjusting every detail and rewriting the outcome. A legal turnaround is now forming, not according to earthly procedures, but under divine jurisdiction, protected by angels, and signed with my sovereign seal. You do not need to argue. You do not need to justify yourself. You do not need to unveil the truth. I will do it for you. That which was stolen, switched, or taken unjustly will now be returned, not by the verdict of men, but by the intervention of heaven. Justice is never late. It arrives precisely when it is meant to, and when it does, no one will be able to deny it. The angels are holding back a sound. It is not thunder, nor the ringing of a bell. It is a proclamation sealed within the spiritual realm, waiting for the appointed moment to be released. When your heart opens fully, when fear no longer has a grip on you, and when you trust completely in what I am doing, then the seal will be broken. And when that happens, every wall that once hindered the echo of your name will collapse. Your name will be spoken in places that never once considered it. Councils that once overlooked you will be compelled to speak your name with honor. Doors that once slammed shut will begin to open by themselves. My child, do not think this is a reward for your brilliance. This is the confirmation of a promise. It is heaven's answer to every moment you remain faithful in silence, to every time you responded to offense not with bitterness, but with prayer in the night, to the moments you chose forgiveness, not because you were weak, but because you knew you were called to live differently. Now, the reward does not arrive with loud glory, but in sacred stillness. It does not come so you may lift your head in pride, but so you may bow it in reverent awe. For when you understand that nothing that unfolds comes from your own strength, you will walk lightly, yet powerfully. You will not need to prove anything. Your life will be the evidence, the way you love, the way you forgive, the way you continue walking, even when others turn away. These will become living testimonies of my divine intervention. Some will be confused. Some will try to explain what is happening to you through earthly assumptions. But you do not need to respond. Just keep walking, for I will continue to reveal. And with every step you take, heaven's proclamation will resound. This reversal is not merely about wealth, status, or title. It is the complete rewriting of the story. What others once used to diminish you will now serve as evidence that I have chosen you. The wounds you once hid will now become doors through which others find their healing. The loneliness you once endured will now become a sanctuary where others come to be comforted, and you will no longer walk alone. As you enter into your season of divine validation, I will place new people beside you, souls refined in holiness, not to steal your light, but to shine alongside you. People who do not envy your calling, but recognize it as part of a greater design from the heart of God. Do not be afraid, my child. Honor is not something you must demand. I will cause it to be given to you freely. You do not need to shout to be heard. I will place words in your mouth and generations will listen. You do not need to climb to be seen. I will lift you up in due season, for I am the one rewriting your story, and once I write, no power can erase it. Beloved, as the light within you begins to shine more clearly, so too will the forces that once hid in darkness be forced into view, not to frighten you, but to show you that I am moving. And even now, when you think no more obstacles remain, I want you to know this. A holy silence has just been declared over a soul who once hindered you in your spiritual journey. That person, the one who whispered doubt, who spoke with double tongue, or who acted in hidden malice, is now being commanded into silence, not by you, but by my authority. I have been watching the matter unfold in silence. I gave them the opportunity to repent, the chance to turn away from their wicked schemes, but when they insisted on going further, when their actions were no longer just harmful, but became a quiet attempt to infiltrate the sacred ground you are now stepping into, that was when I stepped in. And when I rise, no voice dares speak. Have you noticed a certain name echoing repeatedly in your thoughts lately? Do not brush it off. Do not assume it's mere coincidence. That persistent echo is a warning, a knock from the spiritual realm, a sign that an unseen connection is beginning to unveil. That person's presence in your life is not by chance. There is a deeper link woven into the destiny I have written for you. A thread that once seemed loose, but has always been stitched into the sacred tapestry since the beginning of time. You may not yet comprehend the full role this person plays in your story, but I am telling you now so that when the unveiling happens, you will not be caught off guard. They will soon confess something no one could have predicted. A revelation that will awaken your soul and free you from an invisible cord that has held you captive all this time. Do not rush to blame them. Do not be quick to judge, for within their confession lies something profound that I will use to unlock a new door for you. But in this same season, be vigilant. I want you to be aware of something that has recently taken place. A hand, or not sent with good intent, has touched something that belongs to you. It may have been a personal item, a journal, a piece of jewelry, or even something that appeared insignificant. But what they didn't realize is this: anything that has touched the soul of a chosen one bears a sacred imprint, and when they laid their hand on it, they didn't merely touch an object. They came into contact with your essence, with a fragment of the divine light I have sealed within you. They thought they could take something from you. They thought they could steal the light, the authority, the protection. But what belongs to you cannot be taken. The light I gave cannot be swapped, cannot be dimmed, for it did not originate from man, but from the eternal source of life. And anyone who dares to manipulate, seize, or destroy what I have planted in you will have to face consequences, not from your hand. And now, they are beginning to feel the first tremors of spiritual retaliation. What they once controlled with ease is now unraveling into chaos. The relationships they once held tightly are slipping through their fingers like sand. The peace they once feigned now vanishes like morning mist under the righteous sun. You need not lift a finger. I am the one who fights for you. And once I begin my counterattack, your silence becomes the loudest testimony that you belong to me. So hold your peace. Don't strive to understand every detail, for some truths can only be revealed in their appointed time. All I ask is that you remember this: nothing escapes my eyes. No one can enter your sacred space without being confronted by the holiness that guards you. Keep walking forward, gently, but with spiritual sharpness. Let the separation happen without fear. Let the truth from heaven unfold without your need to scream your innocence. For I will do what you cannot do. And when I do, the outcome will not merely be deliverance. It will be complete restoration. You will see, not long from now, The very things you once believed were shackles will be broken. The one who once inflicted wounds will now be the one to openly confess and ask for forgiveness, not to validate your sense of being right, but to release you into a new season with nothing left to tie you down. That sense of relief will be unlike anything you've ever experienced. It is a liberation that begins at the very core of your soul, and it will make way for the greater things I am about to pour out. So do not be discouraged when truth begins to echo aloud. Do not be afraid when the unexpected starts to reveal itself. Know that it is all within my plan. A plan not only to restore you, but to testify that those who belong to me will never be abandoned. No one can take what I have given. No one can extinguish the light I have lit. My beloved, as the light within you grows stronger, as new life begins to take shape in the deepest layers of your soul, everything that no longer resonates with that frequency will begin to fall away, whether you are aware of it or not. A hidden transformation is unfolding within you, not born of logic, but from the sacred depths I am opening. And one of the earliest signs of this spiritual shift is the subtle weariness you now begin to feel when around certain people. Do not think you are being weak. Do not blame yourself for no longer having the energy to entertain, to endure, to keep the peace. There is nothing wrong with you. This is a very real spiritual response, a signal that your soul is rejecting what no longer aligns with the holy frequency you are entering. This is not arrogance. This is awakening. Your heart has begun to discern more clearly what is true love and what is counterfeit, disguised in polite appearances. You are no longer willing to accept sweet words devoid of spirit or kind gestures empty of substance. Your soul is being purified, and in this process, it is beginning to expel everything that no longer nourishes the sacred life within. The fatigue you feel is not because your body is weak. It is because your soul refuses to live in pretense any longer. You no longer want to pretend to be fine when what you truly feel is heaviness, depletion, suffocation. For a soul that has been touched by God cannot pretend for long. It will demand honesty. It will crave transparency. And it will reject any interaction that does not come from a place of sincerity. You will begin to notice yourself withdrawing from long conversations that lack life. You will find it difficult to smile at affections that come with strings attached, or relationships built on subtle control and manipulation. And that is not wrong. That is your soul maturing. That is evidence that you are drawing nearer to the sacred, promised land I have prepared for you. I know there may be moments when you feel alone in the midst of these changes, when those once familiar begin to feel foreign, when relationships that once made you feel a sense of belonging now leave your heart constricted. But do not turn back. Do not abandon the path that is leading you into wholeness out of fear of losing connection. Sometimes separation is necessary to prepare you for something greater, truer, and more enduring. You must understand this, my child. Spiritual energy does not lie. It discerns with unwavering clarity the moment someone approaches you with a false heart or hidden intentions. You may find yourself feeling drained after being around them, not because you hate them, but because the light within you is forced to shield itself from contamination. I am teaching your soul how to discern without words, how to sense, for you are entering a season where spiritual intuition will become your new compass, guiding you not only away from what is obviously harmful, but also from what appears good, yet does not come from me. Do not be alarmed if one day you wake up feeling suffocated around someone you once trusted deeply. Perhaps they haven't done anything wrong in the eyes of the world, but your spirit knows. It knows when something has fractured. It knows when something is no longer in alignment. And in that knowing, you will face difficult decisions. Whether to choose truth or to choose familiarity. Once again, I invite you. Choose truth. Choose purity over comfort. You were not called to live according to what feels easy. You were called to live according to what is right. And sometimes, doing what is right will take you down solitary roads. But those roads are the only ones that lead to holiness and true power. The transformation happening within you is not just to make you different. It is to make you clear, so that your light will no longer be diluted by distorted conversations, half-hearted affections, or forced connections. I am setting you free from everything that keeps you anchored in the old season, even if that means letting go of people who once played a meaningful role in your journey. But do not fear, beloved. Those who truly belong to you will never be left behind. They will feel the shift within you, and if their hearts are genuine, they will adjust and walk with you into the new land. But those who clung to you for benefit, comfort, or control, they will quietly retreat when there is nothing left to grasp. Let everything fall away naturally. You do not need to hold on. I am clearing the path. I am purifying the space around you to prepare the way for those who are new, souls who are also burning with light, also pursuing truth, and ready to walk with you into the next phase. This present solitude is not emptiness, it is sacred space. Space for my presence to fill completely. It is the quiet in which I will write your next chapters, not interrupted by clamoring voices or distorted by unhealthy attachments. I need this stillness to plant in you a new language of closeness. I am teaching you how to recognize love that comes from me, love that is whole, healthy, unbound, and free from manipulation. So when you sense that you no longer fit into certain places or with certain people, do not force yourself to fit again. The change in you is real, and the weariness you feel is a holy invitation. Withdraw from what is false, so you can step into what is true. And then you will see what is true does not drain you. It nourishes, it fills. It allows you to breathe deeply without bracing yourself. It lets you feel safe without having to perform. That is the place I want you to live from. That is the place I am leading you toward. Beloved, there are things your lips never have to say, because your very silence has echoed through the deepest corridors of heaven. While the world is busy with noise, arguments, and self-glorifying words, I am gazing into your heart, the place where silent rivers flow more powerfully than any flood. The things you haven't spoken, your unvoiced prayers, your wishes buried in tears, your unseen tremblings. These are the truest, most potent cries, and heaven is listening to them every moment. You don't have to argue to prove anything. You don't have to raise your voice to reclaim what was always yours. I have seen how you remained composed in the midst of life's storms. I have watched you choose silence when you had every reason to shout, how you whispered prayers when others raised protests. And it is precisely in that quiet strength, so misunderstood by the world, that you've caused angels to bow in reverence, for the stillness of a soul led by the Spirit weighs heavier than the loudest outcry of panicked minds. Now, within the next 5 minutes, you will begin to feel something unusual. Perhaps a thought will strike like lightning and suddenly set your heart aglow. Or maybe a memory, long buried, will resurface like a scene replayed at the perfect moment. It might be a sudden vision, a fleeting image that reaches a depth your mind has never dared to touch, or simply a breeze so light others won't notice, but it will make your soul tremble like a harp string tuned to the exact key of heaven. Pay attention. Don't overlook it. That is a signal from heaven. It is the opening beat of a divine revelation. A miracle is gently knocking, not with grand spectacle, but with the tender holiness of the Creator. Not all greatness arrives with thunder and lightning. Sometimes it begins with a whisper, like the brush of a butterfly's wing upon the shoulder of an awakened soul. Know this: you are a rare soul, a treasure guarded by heaven and earth. Many have seen the light within you, and they were drawn to it. Some tried to imitate it, attempting to recreate that light in their own way. But your light does not come from skill, nor from earthly discipline. It was born in the deep well of endurance, in the faithful years no one witnessed, in the tearful nights when you stayed awake and cried out to me. That light was birthed from genuine brokenness, from a flawless sincerity, and from surrender that knew no conditions. And that is why it cannot be replicated. There were those who tried. They saw you being loved, sought after, listened to, and they assumed all they needed was to mimic your posture, your tone, your prayers. But they did not understand. This light cannot be fabricated, for it was forged in fire. And when they cloaked themselves in a glow that was never theirs, that very fire consumed them. Not because I was angry, but because light cannot be stolen like a possession. It can only be given by me, to those who have walked the path of truth and allowed themselves to be shaped by my own hands. What you carry is not an image, it is a presence, not an outward charm, but a sacred weight that other souls can feel just by being near you. Some weep when you pray, and they don't understand why. Some are pierced by a single word you speak and find themselves seeing their own hearts. This is not because you are impressive. It is because I live in you. I taught you how to love with a love not of this world. I allowed you to touch real sorrow, so that when you lift others up, your hands are not just flesh and bone, but vessels of my mercy. And so, my child, do not be surprised if in the days to come those who once doubted you, those who once dismissed the light within you, begin to return, not necessarily to apologize, though that may happen, but to seek what they now realize is real. Do not close your heart, but neither should you compromise. Let the light lead. Let me show you whom to embrace and whom to leave standing outside the door. The world will continue to search for a light it cannot create, and you will be a lamp placed on a hill, not to shine for the sake of pride, but to illuminate the path for wandering souls. But before that moment arrives, I need you to recognize yourself, not through the lens of others, but through the way I see you. You are not ordinary. You are not forgotten. You are not merely a good person. You are marked, chosen. You carry a light that cannot be replicated. And now, that very light is reaching its fullness. So continue to remain silent when necessary. Continue to stand firm in the midst of storms. Heaven has not taken its eyes off you for even 1 second. Every breath, every moment of your life is being held within a divine network of protection and blessing. When that 5-minute moment passes and the signal is given, simply say, "Lord, I'm ready," and I will do the rest. My beloved, the silence of this past season was not a meaningless delay. It was heaven's pause, a space where every movement was calculated with divine precision. And now, in this moment that appears unchanged, I, the God of deliverance and restoration, am moving. I am shattering the chains that have bound you for many seasons, not only the ones wrapped around you on the outside, but the invisible cords that have entangled your soul. Self-doubt, shame, fear, and the prison of false identities imposed by others. There are things that seemed to have ended, doors you thought would never open again, an opportunity once lost, a position that slipped away, a relationship that fractured, a dream you abandoned because you believed you were no longer worthy. But, my child, I never forget what I planted in your heart. What you thought was left behind, I am now resurrecting, not so you can go back to who you were, but so it may return with a new weight, a new stature, a greater authority, and a deeper purpose. Amram reiterates everything in your life. You may not see it yet, but multiple layers of movement are occurring within hearts, within environments, in political realms, legal systems, finances, and even in the spirit realm. Every link is being adjusted in preparation for your emergence at the appointed time. You're not lost in a maze. You are being led through a sacred hallway where every footstep is monitored and divinely guided. So if you suddenly feel dizzy or waves of unexplainable emotion rise within you, if your heart begins to race or your body feels like collapsing for no apparent reason, do not be alarmed. It is not confusion. It is not weakness. It is your body being recalibrated to carry a new spiritual weight that has just been placed upon you. A weight of confirmation, of calling, of a glory you never dared to imagine. Picture this. You are carrying a key, not just to unlock the door for yourself, but to set free those connected to your life. You are the holder of the code. You carry a frequency capable of tearing through the invisible veil that has blinded many around you. They are waiting for you to rise. They are waiting for you to discover what you've been called to do. They may not speak it aloud. They may not even be aware of it. But their souls have been linked to yours since before time began. The key you carry is not a tool of external power, but of profound understanding that comes from a soul once shattered and then healed. A soul that knows it is not the center, but the instrument. A person who knows the light they bear is not to attract, but to guide. And that is why, when you speak, others will listen. When you reach out, others will be transformed. Not because you are somebody, but because you have allowed me to live within you. But before that key is used in the way it was intended, I need you to fully understand the responsibility it carries. Do not use it to reopen doors I have already closed. Do not try to fit it into spaces that no longer belong to this season. There may be moments of nostalgia. There may be invitations from things that once felt familiar. But you have already stepped out of that place. You are no longer who you once were. And this key only works on doors I have anointed, never on those chosen by your emotions. When you begin to sense a clear shift in your thoughts, in your words, in your emotions, do not doubt it. Do not try to explain it with outdated logic. This is a season of newness, and I am renewing everything from the inside out. You will notice that the little things which used to trouble you no longer hold the same power. Those who once intimidated you will no longer have control. For when my hand is upon you, every chain that once bound you must break. And this is not just spiritual deliverance, it is a tangible expansion in influence, in resources, in calling. You may think you are not ready. You may feel too ordinary. But it is I who have chosen you. Not because you are perfect, but because you are willing to let me perfect you. And that is worth more than any qualification. So when you feel a weight press upon your shoulders, do not resist it. Remember, it is a sign of commission. What is moving around you is not meant to destroy, but to prepare for unveiling. It is time for you to step out of the waiting room. This is no longer a season for considering. This is a season for action. Even if you tremble, I will steady your steps. Even if you feel weak, my strength will cover you. Even if you feel alone, I will bring the right people at the right time. But everything begins with your decision to step into my arrangement, with courage and unwavering faith. Hold on to this. You are being led, refined, anointed, and entrusted, not just for yourself, but for the generation you are destined to impact. Every word you speak, every act of obedience, every time you choose surrender over confusion, you are making way for a shift that no one will be able to reverse. And the key you now hold is the key to the new season rising before you. My beloved child, you are being led, quietly yet surely, toward a strange land. A place your feet have never tread, a realm your mind does not fully comprehend, yet your soul feels deeply familiar with. For that place is not a random destination. It is part of a long-ordained journey, a land where your truest self has always belonged, even though you once believed you were just wandering through the crossroads of fate. And now, as if a sacred map is suddenly revealing itself with unmistakable clarity, I am bringing you home, to the place your heart has longed for, in silence, yet never dared to name. An unexpected address will soon be spoken into your life. It may come through an invitation, a chance encounter that seems insignificant, or a suggestion from someone you least expect. But do not let its simplicity distract you. That place holds a spiritual treasure, a reward reserved only for those who did not give up. The treasure does not lie in gold, silver, fame, or the applause of men. It is the confirmation from heaven that you are walking in the right direction. It is the bond between you and the true destiny into which I engraved your name long before you took physical form. That is the place where you will recover what once seemed lost and realize you were never truly wandering. You were simply being led along a detour, a divine curve, designed to protect the most sacred part of you from eyes not yet ready to see. Go forth, my child, but do not go with confusion in your heart. Step forward with unwavering faith, even when you do not fully understand, even when the path ahead is unclear. Trust that every footstep is being guided by the one who knows the end from the beginning. Each time you choose obedience in the midst of uncertainty, you are being drawn closer to a reward no one can take from your hands. I need you to keep your heart pure and your discernment sharp. For in this very season, there will be those who come to you with radiant smiles and sweet words of congratulations, but whose souls are brimming with envy and deceit. They may not touch you with their hands, so they will attempt to sow into you words that seem harmless. Praise laced with poison. They will smile at you, not out of genuine joy, but because they are terrified by the sight of you rising from the place they believed you would never leave behind. Do not let false praise shake your spirit. Do not let affectionate eyes cause you to forget that there are battles waging on unseen frequencies. When you step into true glory, there will always be whispers seeking to distort the signal of your faith, but you do not need to respond. You do not need to expose anyone. You do not need to retaliate with words. Simply smile. That smile will not only confound them in the physical realm, it will also strip them of authority in the spiritual one. Because when you maintain peace, unshaken by the words or actions of others, heaven itself moves on your behalf. I will reach them in ways that require nothing from you. The calmer you remain, the stronger I will be. The more silent you become in the leading of the Holy Spirit, the more resounding my power will echo across the earth. Do not be afraid when others fail to understand you. Do not grieve when they cannot perceive your worth. Do not panic when they try to dim the light within you. You were not made to fit into the mold they created. You were made to stand out in the sacred uniqueness I breathed into your soul from the foundation of the world, and then you will see. In the quiet faithfulness, in the choices you make without seeking recognition, in every moment you resist the urge to react from your flesh, you are accumulating a kind of sacred oil that no one can counterfeit. It is the oil used to anoint you, to mark you as the one chosen for a higher calling, not to be exalted, but to become a vessel, bringing light into the darkest places, truth into the veiled corners, healing into the most wounded spirit. You will be surprised when a door opens that no one thought you were qualified to walk through. You will be astonished when those who once rejected you now seek your counsel. But you will not become arrogant, for you will know this is not the result of your effort, but the result of my faithfulness. You will walk gently, yet with great authority. Because true humility is the armor of those who have been anointed. And when you arrive at that place, the one with the unexpected address that has been waiting, your soul will recognize it immediately. No signs will be necessary. No one will need to confirm it. Your heart will beat differently. The atmosphere will carry an unfamiliar vibration. A peace that surpasses all understanding will cover you completely, and in that moment you will know, this is the place where I have hidden something precious for you. It cannot be stolen. It cannot be violated. Remember, You are not merely being led to a physical land. You are being positioned in the exact location on the divine map where all things begin to align, where affirmation does not arrive through applause, but through a deep inner resonance. You will no longer need to prove anything. Your very presence will be the evidence. My beloved, prepare your spirit to receive a miraculous shift in the deepest layers of your soul, for a door is opening, one that no man can shut. Archangel Michael himself is delivering a divine proclamation, like the sound of a trumpet echoing through the heavens. Your dreams will no longer be vague. They will become clear, vivid, and stronger than ever before. Do not confuse them with imagination. These are not tangled, meaningless visuals. They are prophetic messages, breaking through the shell of silence to reach your heart. You will begin to dream of strange things, unfamiliar scenes that feel oddly familiar. It might be a room you've never stepped into, yet your soul recognizes every detail. It might be a stranger speaking words you once buried deep inside. These visions are not meant to confuse you. They are invitations, drawing you closer to a greater unveiling. So do not let them slip from your mind. Place a journal beside your bed as a symbol of watchfulness every time you awaken. Even if you recall only a fragment of the dream, write it down, for somewhere within those words, a moment will arrive when the light of heaven will break in, and you will realize that was no dream. That was the voice of God. Prophecy is shifting, and it is using your sleep to plant seeds. Each dream will be a puzzle piece, a code, a silent map, and in due time, all of it will come together into a message that no one but you can decode. It is heaven's invitation to step into a divine revelation crafted uniquely for your soul. At the same time, something surprising is quietly unfolding. What you are reading now, these very words weaving their way into your heart, will begin to echo, not in your ears, but in the ears of the one who once wounded you most deeply. They will hear the reverberation of these words, though you never send them. Not through email, not by message, but by spiritual frequency. They won't understand why they are being stirred, but in a moment of stillness, when all the noise of life dies down, it will feel as though a blade has touched their soul. Their conscience will be awakened. A restlessness will rise. And when it does, they will try to reach you. Perhaps a phone call, a message, an attempt to reconnect. But, my child, do not rush to respond. Do not let emotion pull you away from the sacred process I am building. Let the miracle respond for you. Let the light within you speak the truth. It's not that you never longed to be understood, never desired an apology. I know you did. But this moment is no longer about them. This is the time I am using you as a sign, and sometimes that sign must remain still so the light from heaven can shine more clearly. Do not disrupt that moment with words. Do not dull the miracle with personal reactions. Hold your silence as a spiritual weapon. That very stillness will be the fatal blow to the darkness that once covered their soul. I know your heart is tender. I know you do not wish to retaliate, but I also know that you have grown. Now, what you need is not vindication, but a heavenly affirmation, not a defense, but a divine confirmation from above. And that is coming. It is coming swiftly. It is coming clearly. It is coming in a way that cannot be stopped. So do not turn back. Do not lower your soul to the level of the things you once fought so hard to rise above. You have already been lifted. Now, stand firm in that new position. The position of one who carries the anointing. One who has been marked. One who has been chosen to release prophetic words into a world that is barren from the absence of truth. And then, when the time is ripe, if I desire you to speak, I will give you the words. If I want your heart to open, I will lead you. But for now, let silence be the language of maturity, the crown worn by one who is no longer ruled by old wounds. Keep moving forward. Keep writing down every dream. Keep your soul open and expectant, ready to receive the waves of revelation drawing near. Because the miracle is not only beginning, it is already in motion. And every breath you take in trust is an affirmation that you are ready for what's coming. Miracles don't always arrive wrapped in gentleness or pleasant surroundings. Sometimes they come like a sacred whirlwind, a mighty wind from heaven, not to destroy you, but to shape you. And in this very moment, beloved soul, you are standing in the midst of such a storm not sent by man, but by the hand of God. It is not punishment. It is divine intervention. It is not destruction. It is a holy birthing. You are not abandoned in this storm. You are being covered. Understand this. What is happening in your life is not random chaos. It is a deliberate shaking. A sacred purification is unfolding. Relationships that once seemed unshakable, emotions that once felt deeply intertwined, are being swept away without mercy. But do not be afraid, because those things do not belong to the new season that God is opening before you. You are not losing. You are being set free. You are not being rejected. You are being protected. What is leaving your life are the very things that cannot journey with you into the promised land God has prepared. The departure of certain people from your life is not an end, but a confirmation. It confirms that you have changed, that you have stepped out of the old land, where your soul was bound by unnamed curses and dreams that never blossomed. And now, heaven is clearing the path so a new life can take root. Do not mourn the ones who quietly walk away. Offer them to God. Bless them with peace from the depths of your heart. And then turn and walk forward. Stronger, wiser, and closer to the sacred destiny that awaits you. Because you see, not everyone is anointed to walk with you through every chapter of your journey. Some were only sent for a season, and when that time is past, no matter how tightly you try to hold on, they will fade like morning mist. God will not allow anything to remain if it will delay or sabotage the purpose He has designed for you. That is why the winds are rising, why the ground is trembling, why your heart sometimes feels like it is breaking, but behind that pain, a new order is being established, an order set in motion by heaven itself. Do not let fleeting emotions cloud eternal truth. Some relationships may appear close, but in reality they are merely sweet-tasting chains that keep your soul from soaring higher. There are promises once given by others that were never meant to be fulfilled, and now God is removing them from your life to make room for His promises, which never change. You don't need things that are almost right. You need divine truth. And God loves you enough to shatter what is wrong in order to establish what is right, even if that means you weep through a long, lonely night. My child, do not mistake heaven's silence for absence. When the winds blow strongest, that is when His hand is moving most deeply. God is crafting a new version of you, stronger, steadier, no longer swayed by the approval of others. You do not need to be understood by everyone. You only need to be affirmed by your Creator. And He is doing exactly that. Through every gust of wind, every closed door, every broken connection. This storm is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to reform you. You are being refined in the sacred furnace. Everything that does not come from truth will be consumed. Every mask, every false identity, every inheritance stained by the past will not survive the fire of God. This is the moment when you are being separated from the cycles of generational curses, the wounds your family has carried for generations, the burdens your soul never understood why it had to bear. They are being broken at the root. The cleansing taking place is not just on the surface. It is penetrating the deepest spiritual structures within you. Words once spoken over you by parents, grandparents, or those in authority that were not in alignment with God's will. Those words are being revoked. Seeds of doubt, fear, and shame that you carried as part of your identity are now being uprooted by the power of the Holy Spirit. In their place, you will be anointed with true peace, divine courage, and a holy resilience born from heaven. For the greatness you are about to walk into cannot be built on an old foundation. You cannot carry new glory with a heart still attached to what no longer fits. You must step out of the familiar, not to be abandoned, but to be elevated. Every step you take now is being led not by emotion, but by light from above. And every loss you thought would break you is actually a doorway into a season that is fuller, deeper, and more saturated with God's presence than you have ever known before. Believe this: miracles do not always emerge from comfort. They are often birthed in the darkest places, where you are forced to let go in order to grasp something far greater. And now, beloved one, you are standing in such a moment. Do not turn back. Do not look behind you. Do not regret. For everything you just lost, God is replacing with something that cannot be taken. Everyone who walked away will be replaced by those with true hearts, divinely sent to walk beside you. The miracle is beginning in the chaos, in the tears, in the solitude. But when it is complete, you will understand that everything unfolded exactly as God ordained. And then, nothing will be able to hold you back. No curse will bind you. No chain will fit you anymore. You will be free, and that freedom will not end with you. It will extend to the generation behind you, waiting for someone to break the cycle and open the way forward. After the spiritual storm that seemed to strip away everything you once held dear, a new wind is beginning to sweep through your soul. A wind not of chaos, but of elevation. Beloved soul, you have not been left behind. On the contrary, you are being lifted to a higher realm in the divine order. What you are experiencing is not suffocation, nor is it a breakdown of your spirit as you might think. The heaviness in your chest, the inexplicable tightness in your throat, the tears that fall without reason in the silence of midnight, These are not signs of despair, but signals of expansion. They are the labor pains of your soul growing, preparing to hold more of the sacred outpouring heaven is releasing into you. Just like an old skin being shed to reveal a renewed form, spiritual promotion rarely arrives wrapped in ease. It can exhaust you, confuse you, even cause you to question your own discernment. Yet amid the whirlwind of emotion, one thing remains unwavering. God is drawing you closer to His vision. You are stepping beyond the borders of your former understanding into a season where every past experience, every wound, every prophetic word carries deeper meaning that had once been veiled. Perhaps, at some point in the past, you read a spiritual message, a verse, a prophecy, a quiet stirring in your heart, but it didn't feel like it was meant for you. Maybe you dismissed it or deleted it, thinking, "It's not time," or "That's not for me." But now, in a moment of silence, it returns, like a familiar voice gently knocking at the door of your soul. Do not mistake this as mere memory. It is an invitation. A sacred code was hidden within that moment. And now, right here in your journey, it is being awakened. Go back, revisit what you once overlooked. Turn back the pages, reread the words you thought had reached their conclusion. For within them lies a code, a divine cipher wrapped in language, symbols, and deep intuition. When you return to it with purified eyes and a heart refined by the storm, you will no longer see it as you once did. You will perceive the truth etched more clearly. You will see the path. You will hear heaven's call. My child, now is the time. The next phase does not begin with thunder or lightning. It begins with recognition. When you decode what was once hidden, a door will open. Quietly, yet with undeniable authority. It is the door that leads into the sacred space your soul has long yearned for. Not a physical location, but a spiritual realm, where old promises are revived and you realize you were never forgotten, never left out of God's plan. Everything you've walked through, the breaking, the departures, the solitude, the purification, has been a divine preparation for new power. You are no longer who you used to be. You are being anointed for a higher role, entrusted with a broader vision. But this role cannot be carried in the mindsets of the past, in the beliefs of yesterday, or in the ego you once clung to. That is why God allowed those things to melt away, so He could fill you with what He has chosen. And when you stand at the threshold between what was and what is coming, you will begin to notice unusual signs. A passing comment someone makes, a dream that jolts your spirit awake, a song that plays just as you're tempted to give up. Don't dismiss these things as coincidence. The pieces are aligning, and each small detail is serving as a whisper from eternity. Let me lead you into the new land. But the new land is not for the lazy soul or the doubting heart. You must rise. You must prepare. You must be willing to walk without having all the answers. This is no longer the time to wait for human confirmation. This is the moment to act upon the confirmation of the Holy Spirit. When you choose to trust and step forward, the heavens will shift. Doors once thought sealed will swing open. Forgotten promises will breathe with fresh life, and you will find yourself standing upon the very ground you once only dared to pray for from afar. Also remember this. This elevation is not merely for personal benefit. God is turning you into a carrier of fire. The ascension of your soul is not meant to remain within. It is destined to illuminate the path for others. They will look at you and say, "If God did it for this one, He can do it for me too." You will not merely be the one who was touched. You will be the one who transmits, a vessel in the hand of heaven. And every pain you once endured will no longer be a scar, but a glorious seal of resurrection. So, courageous soul, do not fear when the old layers within you begin to fall away. Do not resist when God begins to rewrite your life story using the language of heaven. Turn back, retrieve the ancient message, and read it again with eyes that have been cleansed by tears and faith. Decode that sacred script with a heart no longer swayed by the voices of others, but one that now pulses in harmony with the rhythm of heaven. And then you will hear it, a gentle yet commanding whisper rising from within. "My child, a new chapter has begun." As it was spoken and engraved upon your soul, the signs are now emerging swiftly, powerfully, and with holy majesty. No longer vague impressions, no longer fleeting sensations. You are now witnessing a sacred gate opening within your very life. And the dream is no longer a shelter of illusions, but a realm where heaven begins to paint messages with striking clarity. The images you see in your sleep, the strange yet familiar faces, the warnings cast in light, the numbers, the symbols, and even the whispers from the unseen realm. None of these are random. They are fragments of a prophetic tapestry being assembled piece by piece. And God has chosen your soul as the place where this vision is being revealed. You are being entrusted with a gift not for boasting, but for service. It is the gift of spiritual sight, an eye of the spirit that begins to perceive what lies far beyond the grasp of human logic. It is an eye that has been cleansed by the tears of long nights, refined by falls no one saw, and opened through the door of silent obedience. When God grants you this ability, He is not simply giving you a privilege. He is placing upon your shoulders a sacred responsibility to become a watchman at the gates of heaven, not only for your own life, but for the lives of those you are called to lift. Do not doubt what you've seen. Do not question whether what you've felt in your dreams is merely the product of a weary mind. No, it is heaven speaking its own language to your spirit. And the very moment you begin to believe is the moment you step into an entirely new realm of faith. Faith is no longer something you recite in memorized prayers. It becomes a living state, a complete fusion between your soul and the holy operations of the eternal realm. Now, you no longer stand on the sidelines of the miraculous. You are at the very center of something sacred, something vast that is about to be released. But this miracle will not arrive with trumpet blasts, nor will it need dazzling lights or the applause of people. The miracle prepared for you will come quietly, like the morning mist covering the fields, like the first light of dawn touching your window pane, and yet its impact will shake everything around you. It will silence those who once doubted you. It will compel those who once turned away from you to stop and admit, "Surely the Lord is with this one." And in that very moment, when every eye turns toward you, you will be taught one of the deepest truths. that true victory does not come from being acknowledged by the crowd, but from being affirmed by heaven. Your silence in this season is the royal mantle God has draped across your shoulders. Your calmness amid the storm is the loudest declaration that you are not swayed by the world, but anchored by the Most High. So keep your heart in peace. Do not rush to explain. Do not strive to prove anything. When you attempt to articulate things that belong to the realm of the Spirit, others may not understand. But when heaven reveals it, no one will be able to deny it. There are things that only time can clarify, and there are things that only silence can bring into focus. This is one of those sacred moments where your stillness becomes the foundation upon which God's power will speak. You are standing at the threshold between the old and the new, between the darkness that has been shattered and the light that has not yet fully dawned. This is the holiest moment, where every angel on assignment is holding their breath, waiting for the appointed time. They are preparing for an eruption, not one born from the earth, but one released from heaven. An eruption not meant for display, but for divine transfer, not to stir chaos, but to establish purpose. You will not enter it with noise, but with certainty. Not in confusion, but in the deep knowing that every word He promised is now coming into form. This spiritual eruption will not break you. It will establish you. It will not leave you disoriented. It will bring you into clarity. Every dream, every prophetic word, every moment you once felt lost, all of it is now converging into one point, to lead you into the place where God's voice will echo most powerfully within your soul, no longer deluded by the noise of this world. And as you step into this new phase, remember, you are not walking alone. Heaven is going before you. Angels are preparing the path. The Holy Spirit is guiding you, and God Himself is gently placing His hand on your shoulder, saying, "Now is the time. You are ready. Step in." You will not need anyone to open the door, for the door has already been ordained to open for you. You will not need anyone to authorize you, for the authority has already been issued from the highest throne, and you will not need the applause of men, for you have the agreement of heaven. So, sanctified soul, hesitate no longer. Believe what you see, walk in what you know, and be as quiet as the wind, but as fierce as holy fire. For the moment of divine eruption is drawing near, and when it comes, no one will be able to deny that you were prepared by God for something far greater than human understanding can grasp. Now, offer me your sincere prayer. You may say something like this: Lord God, I enter this place of stillness as one who has been invited to a sacred banquet, not to present anything, but to listen for the breath of heaven stirring around me. Please quiet the noise within, so that your whisper may resound like a symphony composed solely for an awakened soul. If this moment is the threshold of something sacred the world has not yet seen, then grant me a tender heart, a humble spirit, and a discerning soul that receives not through reason but through faith. Teach me to guard silence as a sacred rite, where miracles are formed in the shadows and nurtured in the quietness of obedience. If time has truly paused to await my heart aligning with the rhythm of heaven, then please do not let me pass through this sacred moment as one who is numb or unaware. If there is something hidden through generations that is now beginning to unfold, I ask that my eyes not be blinded by doubt or fear. Let me be among the chosen, not because I am worthy, but because I am willing. Even if my hands tremble and my heart does not yet understand, let the first words from my lips be, "Here I am, Lord." May my presence in this moment be a worthy response to a divine invitation from heaven itself. Lord, I bow my head and treasure the holy gift you've entrusted to me, as one would guard a precious jewel not yet ready to be unveiled. Though my heart yearns to share, though those I love may not understand the silence that has taken hold of me, please place a divine guard upon my lips. Remind me that not every beautiful thing must be revealed too soon, and not every miracle needs a stage to shine. What you have sown in my spirit is a sacred seed that must be protected. I long to be the one who incubates it in faith, until the day comes when you, and you alone, will bring it forth in perfect timing. Lord, when those who once journeyed through seasons with me begin to drift away, when the once familiar connection now feels stifled without explanation, help me not to cling to what you are gently removing. I don't want to turn back just to comfort a fading emotion. Grant me spiritual eyes to discern what separation comes from your love, and what delay stems from my own fear. Make me brave enough to accept that not everyone is meant to walk into the new land you are leading me to. So, let me understand that temporary solitude is not a punishment, but the grace of divine preparation. Lord, I know there are seasons I have walked through where no applause was heard, where no words of encouragement could lift my soul. Yet in the silence of long, tearful nights, when no one saw my pain, you were listening. In the moments I chose silence over retaliation, forgiveness over defense, you took note. If today I am on the brink of entering a season of divine confirmation, help me not to carry pride, but only gratitude, because it was in being forgotten that the unseen foundation for your glory was laid. Lord, if what I carry is not just for me, but a door of deliverance for many, teach me to steward it with reverence and wisdom. Show me which doors are meant to be opened and which ones must be released. I do not want to use the sacred for the sake of ego. I only long to be a keeper of the way, a quiet, steady vessel who needs no recognition, only your presence. Grant me spiritual alertness, so I may not step into lands no longer anointed by you. Lord, you chose me not in moments when I was shining, but in the very season I had fallen, and for that I bow in reverence. You called my name when I could no longer even recognize myself. You saw value in the ashes I had deemed meaningless. If this calling came not from merit, but from mercy, then I offer you all I have, both my weakness and my longing, to live in a way worthy of the trust you placed in me. I do not need to understand why I was chosen. I only need to live a life that reflects deep and lasting gratitude. Lord, I thank you for the unseen ways you have protected me. There were times I had no idea that a dark hand had tried to reach for what was mine. Yet in those moments, when I had no strength to fight, you rose up. I heard no thunder, felt no quake, yet I knew most great miracles begin with a protection no one sees. I am grateful that you did not let me defend myself, because you are the advocate who never fails, and so I will continue walking forward in peace. Not because I am strong, but because I am covered in holy power. I offer this prayer in the mighty name of Jesus Christ. Amen. If you love the Lord, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss any of the life-giving, soul-stirring messages from God. Together, we will grow in faith and walk in the fullness of His love. Amen.